Remember a childhood fueled by imagination rather than video games and apps? Forget the fidget spinners and flashy video games gathering dust in the corner. Buckle up, because we're taking a radical trip back to the 1970s. A simpler time where classic and forgotten toys may appear strange to children today, but inspired creativity and endless fun. A treasure box full of cool toys. Grab onto your hats, time travelers. We're going to explore the pleasing sound of Lego bricks fitting together and the captivating light of a Lite-Brite. Inspired creativity in a generation and led to many hours of enjoyment. The rise of the construction kings. Lego bricks, 1958 to present. Lego bricks were first made available in the late 1940s, but they became very popular in the 1970s. Sets back then were simpler, with a focus on basic shapes. Kids had to use their imaginations to come up with more complex designs. Some of you may recall spending hours on the living room floor, carefully constructing a massive space station with a working drawbridge and a tiny lunar rover. These brightly colored bricks were about more than just building. They were also about telling stories, solving problems, and being creative in endless ways. A fun fact about Lego is that the name comes from the Danish word leggot, which means play well. Lincoln Logs, 1916 to present. Lincoln Logs, another building favorite, saw a rebirth in the 1970s. These durable wooden logs, fashioned from actual logs used by Abraham Lincoln's father, enabled children to construct forts, bridges, and even frontier cities. The basic design and the natural warmth of the wood created a feeling of nostalgia and connection to the past. These little builders had no idea that with each log they laid, they were improving their fine motor skills and spatial thinking ability. Building dreams, brick by brick, log by log. Lego blocks and Lincoln Logs were more than simply toys. They served as blank canvases for children's imaginations. The power to build whatever they wanted, from towering castles to enormous cities, provided a feeling of success and boundless creative exploration. These classic construction toys continue to grab children's hearts and imaginations today, demonstrating that the power of basic, open-ended play never goes out of vogue. From experimenting to excitement. It wasn't all buildings in the 1970s. During this time, there were more toys that were hard for kids to understand, and that made them interested in science and engineering. Set of Erectors, 1913 to present. This well-known metal building kit was first made in the early 1900s and was at its most popular in the 1970s. With its large number of nuts, bolts, and metal beams, the Erector set pushed young engineers to build anything from working cranes to tiny Ferris wheels. It was more than simply following instructions. It was about exploration, problem solving, and finding the pleasure of creating. Who knows, some of today's engineers and innovators were inspired by experimenting with an Erector set as children. Electric football, 1950s to present. Electric football has been bringing gridiron action to fans since the 1950s and continues to do so today. Electric football brought the excitement of pro football into American households. The small games included a metal playing surface and small players controlled by joysticks with magnets. The quick-moving gameplay and strategic elements inspired a passion for competition and fair play in many young people. Interesting fact, the original electric football game was created in the 1950s, but it gained the most popularity in the 70s, a time considered the golden era for professional football. The joy of coming up with something new and the excitement of the game. The Erector set and electric football reflect a wide selection of toys that fascinated youngsters in the 1970s. These were more than simply toys. They were gates to the exciting worlds of science, engineering, and sports. From building sophisticated functioning machinery to plotting winning plays on the tiny gridiron, these toys instilled in children a love of learning and a sense of accomplishment that has endured throughout generations. Unlocking the inner artist. The 1970s weren't all about constructing and experimenting. They were also a period of creative expression. Prepare to rediscover some of the most beloved creative toys that inspired imaginations and fueled a passion for visual arts. A-line and light painting. Etch-a-Sketch, 1960 to present. This ageless drawing tool swept the globe in the 1960s and remained popular into the 1970s. This simple design, a clear screen and two knobs, enabled kids to produce stunning artwork with a single twist and turn. The wonder of seeing a blank canvas develop into an elaborate design with each click was extremely captivating. Etch-a-Sketch was more than just a drawing toy. It improved hand-eye coordination and encouraged patience and accuracy. Some people may recall spending countless afternoons meticulously sketching spaceships and elaborate castles on an Etch-a-Sketch. The challenge of creating detailed artwork with such a limited tool sparked the imagination and kept kids entertained for hours. Spirograph, 1965 to present. Prepare for beautiful geometric designs. The Spirograph, an unusual drawing tool with interlocking gears and pens, allowed children to make unlimited designs of spirals, waves, and interlocking circles. With every rotation of the gears revealing a fresh and unforeseen pattern, the surprise factor inspired a feeling of amazement and creative discovery. Who would have thought that math could be so enjoyable? Where imagination meets creation. The Etch-a-Sketch and Spirograph represent the artistic spirit that thrived in the 1970s. These toys weren't just about creating pictures, but the joy of discovery, experimentation, and the satisfaction of watching one's imagination come to life on a blank canvas. The legacy of these timeless creative tools continues to inspire artists of all ages today. An interactive experience for all the senses. The 1970s provided a playground for all of the senses, and the following two toys are perfect examples. Prepare for a journey down memory lane full of light, sounds, and endless creative fun. Illuminating play. Lite-Brite, 1967 to present. This legendary toy turned fun into a fascinating light show. Kids pushed little colorful pegs into a black template to create a variety of designs, including animals, stars, and geometric patterns. Turning on the light displayed their work in a dazzling glow, instilling a feeling of success and creative expression. Lite-Brite wasn't just fun, it also developed fine motor skills and hand-eye coordination. Record player, 19th century to present. The satisfying pop and crackle of vinyl records spinning on a turntable, along with the exciting sounds of music, filled homes across the country. Owning and playing records was more than just listening to music. It was a whole cultural experience. Carefully browsing album covers, reading liner notes filled with information about the artists and the music, and gently placing the needle on the record were all part of the ritual of enjoying music in the 1970s. Record players not only developed a love of music, but also became a cherished fixture in many living rooms, fostering a sense of community and shared experiences. A symphony of light and sound. Record players and Lite-Brites were not just toys. They were ways to explore and be creative using all your senses. From the mesmerizing way that Lite-Brite and record players mixed light and sound to create immersive soundscapes, these toys stimulated the senses and inspired a lifelong love of art. Their lasting legacy lives on in the minds of those who grew up with them and served as a constant reminder of the power of playing pretend. Gearing up for friendly competition. The 1970s weren't all about solitary play. This era saw a boom in board games and toys that brought families and friends together for hours of laughter and friendly competition. The excitement of the hunt. Kerplunk, 1967 to present. From 1967 to now, Kerplunk has been an exciting game that kept everyone on the edge of their seats. Players carefully took turns taking colorful sticks out of a plastic barrel full of marbles, being careful not to be the one to knock the marbles over. The anticipation of each stick being taken away, the sound of marbles hitting the ground, and the relief of avoiding the dreaded Kerplunk all helped to make the game popular for a long time. Kerplunk wasn't just a game to win. It helped kids improve their fine motor skills and taught them important lessons about being patient and taking risks. Hungry Hungry Hippos, 1978 to present. From 1978 to now, Hungry Hungry Hippos has been getting ready for some fun that moves quickly. Hippos of different colors with snapping mouths were in Hungry Hungry Hippos. They were all hungry for marbles that were spread out on the game board. As players frantically pushed the levers, their hippos chomped on marbles, making a lot of noise and laughter. This fast-paced game was more than just about speed. It also helped kids improve their hand-eye coordination and ability to think strategically. The joy of togetherness. Kerplunk and Hungry Hungry Hippos represent the social aspect of 70s toys. These games weren't just about competition. They were about bringing families and friends together for an afternoon of shared laughter, friendly rivalry, and the joy of spending quality time together. The legacy of these classic board games continues to entertain new generations, proving that the power of simple, interactive play never goes out of style. A groovy journey through playtime. If these classic toys brought you back to the 1970s, prepare for a nostalgic adventure overflowing with iconic classics and popular desserts that might have slipped your mind.